All right, I need 1 or 2 volunteers. I wrote 2, so I'll get 2. All right, I need a guy and I need a girl. Hold on. First of all, that's not how it works for me. You were president. Come on up here. All right, let's see. Why are they doing it, guys? Small person. You know what? I wasn't pointing at you, but that's okay. You're smaller than him. Come to the stage. We'll let you see you. All right, I have a very important question for you all. And if you can't answer it, you're fired from life. All right, let's go to the screen right there. Jesus. Your name is not Jesus. Your name is David. Okay, your name's David. Nice to meet you, David. Pleasure. What's your name? Mateo. Awesome. Pleasure to meet you. So I have a question for you. What's your first name? What's your middle name? You're on stage. This is time. This is time. Earl. I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing at the face of it. I apologize. Earl is a great name. That's my uncle's name. It's a little crazy, but it's a great name. What's your first name? Mateo. Once again, one of you people. All right. What's your middle name? Dean. Okay, so what's your full name? Mateo Dean Fitch. Okay, what's your full name? David, don't ask me. Why is it that when I ask what your name is, you just told me one name? I'll go to you because he just got quiet. You don't know? That's a good answer. Hey, y'all, you did a great job. You did a great job. You just go ahead. I'll work it out for you. So here's the thing. I didn't expect y'all to be nervous about your names. I mean, Earl's a great name. And you say Dean? Is that what it was? Dean? That's a great name also. So for me, my name is James Akil Mims, right? And so some people, I'm glad you do that. It's great. But some people find out about my first name. I remember I had a coworker, she found out after about 3 or 4 years that my first name was James. And this is what she said to me, which was completely rude. You lied to me for 3 years.
You lied to me.
I didn't lie at all. My name, it was on the little sign-in sheet, James Akil Mims. Everybody just called me Akil. So, well, why do you go by Akil? Well, because my dad's name is James, and my grandfather's name is James. And if we're in the house, and my mom's talking to my dad, lo and behold, she might be upset with him because he forgot to do something. She says, James, what were you thinking? And I respond, all of a sudden, I wasn't in trouble at first, but because I responded and opened my mouth, I get in trouble as well. So to save myself from that trouble, my parents said, you know, we're just going to call him Akil. And I like Akil better because Akil means wisdom. James means to take the place of. But you ever thought about the fact that our names are more than just what we respond to? Right? Like somebody can say James, that is my legal name. James Akil Mims. Somebody can say James, and I don't even register, maybe they're talking to me. Doesn't even process. Why? Because never in my life did anybody call me James. My grandmother called me James Akil, but that was when I was in trouble. Which was that's not important. But I never responded to James. I never thought about James. But it's a legal name, right? It's my legal name, and it's something I guess I could respond to, but I don't. Because a name is more than just, hey, okay, your name's Benita. Awesome. Well, what if there's another Benita? And I call both of you. Which one am I talking to? Like a name is more than just something we're called. It's more than just something we respond to. So then we have to ask ourselves, so then what is my name? And not just, okay, hey, your name's Akil. Because I identify, yeah, that's what my name is. But what exactly is the name? What is the purpose behind the name? What is the reason for me having the name? Here's a better question. I just saw somebody's eyes do this. Better question? Maybe, maybe not. Paying attention? No, he's not. Come on. What is the significance of my name? Better question, right? Because you can ask somebody what's your name, and they might be like, look, my name is Akil. And then they start getting upset with you. You keep asking, so they're like, wait, hold on. I already told you my name. Stop asking me the same question. No, I'm not asking what is your name. I'm asking, like, what is your name? I told you what my name is. No, I want to know what's the significance behind your name. Oh, well, that's a different question. Do you ever think about that, or am I just the only one who's odd? And I asked him, I know I'm odd. I know that. I was a comma, okay? It was a comma. Actually, there was no comma there. I was just going on. Am I the only odd person who, when I meet somebody with a name that maybe I don't know, I say, okay, what does your name mean? Or why did your parents name you that? Now, sometimes you get those answers, you're like, I don't really know. They liked it. Or every now and then you get that combination like, well, this is my dad's name, my mom's name, they put it together because they couldn't decide on it, they made a happy medium. And that's your name? You probably should change that when you turn 18. Lisa Timothy, that's sad. But a name is more than just something that we respond to. A name has significance, a name has meaning, and the reason behind that is maybe something we don't often think about because it's something we really don't talk about. In our culture today, we say, okay, cool, I've got a name, and I only go by one of my names, the one that's the coolest out of all three. Your parents might call you something when you're younger, like a nickname or something, and as soon as you get old enough to realize how embarrassing it is, you stop that real quick. Let's be honest, you do, right? So tonight I want to talk about the significance of your name, but not the name your parents called you. Your true name. If you have your Bibles, because we're about to finish our Proverbs series, called Words of the Wise, go ahead and turn to Proverbs 22:1. Just one verse again. And it says, "A good name is to be chosen rather than great riches, and favor is better than silver or gold." I really like this verse because I don't know if any of you have ever heard me, if you've been around me for like 5 minutes, heard me talk about identity. I love identity. It's such a big deal to me. And the purpose behind identity. But this verse, it says a good name, an intended name, is something to be desired more than wealth, more than riches, more than gold and silver. Favor is better than gold and silver. But why? Why would that even matter? It's not something that we really think about, it's something we talk about, but it's something that maybe we should think about. Because if we said we're free, or we're free indeed, if God has made us new, then maybe there's something that comes alongside being set free by God. Maybe it's not just, okay, cool, I get to hang out with you for eternity, yay! I'm a better person, yay! Maybe there's a lot more to it, yay. We'll find out. So Psalm 139:13 says, "For you formed my inward parts, you knitted me together in my mother's womb." Anybody in here ever knit before? No? Yes? I didn't expect that. At all. Okay, so if you've knit or you've sewn something together, I used to sweep when I was younger. I don't know why. I have no idea why I learned how to do that. But it was a valuable trait. After let it go, I forgot it. But when you knit something together, other than stabbing yourself every now and then, or when you're sewing together, you wear those little things so you don't stab yourself. So you can grab things, little thimbles, I think is what it's called. But you're sewing it together, why? I said, why are you sewing something together? We sew it together by hand because it's something that we want to be made right. I mean, you can get something mass-produced and it might have a little error in it. It might look the same as every other one. But when you hand make something, I was in Zambia one time and this lady had a scarf on her neck. And I said, I really want that scarf, not for myself, but I wanted to give it to my brother as a gift because he loves scarves. And I was like, that scarf is amazing. And I asked her, how much? She said, oh, it's not for sale. Everything's for sale. I didn't say that, but I thought that. I said, all right, literally, how much? How much? American dollars. How much you want for it? She's like, oh no, there's only one that's ever been made. It's handmade. And now she piqued my interest. All of a sudden, now I really need to have it. I'm going to kill that ladybug. This part's over here. I ended up getting it. Look, it's just a ladybug. It's fine. I ended up getting it though, right? Because it was handmade. It's one of a kind. My brother saw it. He's like, well, I've never seen anything like this before. It's like, you want it again, man? You want it again? This lady handmade this. When something is handmade, when it's knit together, it's done for a purpose because it's special. And the psalmist says, you formed my inward parts. You knit me together in my mother's womb. In fact, in Genesis chapter 1, we see that God speaks a lot of things in the being. He speaks of stars in the being. He speaks darkness. He speaks the earth. He speaks the grass. He speaks the animals and the fish and the birds and everything else. He speaks all these things to the being. And then he stops speaking things in the being and he says, we should make man in our own image. And then he handmakes, comes down, breathes, and then he breathes life into man. Then he makes woman by hand as well. All things created, and you all are the only ones that are actually handmade, knit by God. Someone might tell you, you know what? You're dumb, or you're not important, or you're not significant, or you're an accident, you're a mistake, or you know what, you shouldn't even be here. Well, that person is a liar, let's be honest, that person is stupid. Let's just be real. It's not a bad word. If someone looks at you and says, you have no value, you have no purpose, that person is blinded to reality. Because in reality, the God who spoke all things into creation handmade you because he saw value in you. The reason you know that is because if he's a God who chose to hand make you, he wouldn't hand make something he didn't want to use. You would have never been born. But because you were born, and because you breathe, because you live, because you're here, you're created for an intended purpose. So what the psalmist says is, hold up, first and foremost, the God who I praise, the God who I serve, didn't just create me, he handmade me. He knit me together. But what's the big deal with that? Well, the next verse is going to tell us what the big deal is about that. It says Isaiah 49:1. The Lord called me from the womb. From the body of my mother, he named... What? That's wrong. He named my name. It's a different translation. That's okay. Basically, he named you in the womb. What Isaiah is saying is, look, before I was even born, before I came out, 9 months later, in that little incubator period of time right there, God said, this is your name. Now some of y'all might be saying, Haskell, you lying. Okay, look at this list right here. Adam. How do we know that God named Adam? Because there's nobody else to name him. That's an easy one. Isaac. Ishmael. Both of these two were the first, well, one was illegitimate, but the other one was the first son of Abraham. Right? God said before they were even born, hey, you will call this person this name right here. Jesus. Very much before he was born, people were saying, hey, he will be Emmanuel, which means God with us. And then when Mary found out she was pregnant, she was also told, hey, by the way, don't call him Bill, don't call him Steve, please don't call him Judas. His name, I don't know. His name is Jesus. And every single one of these people, there's a lot more, by the way. There's like a bunch of women, but they have some hard names to pronounce, so I put them up there. But every single one of these people, God said, hey, I want your parents to know this is this person's name, and that name actually is going to have to do with what they do with their lives. The reason I'm calling this person Jesus right now is because every single day of his life, he's going to live up to this right here. The reason this person is called Ishmael is because of what they're going to live into. But some of y'all might be saying to yourself, you know what, okay, cool, I get it, I feel special, I'm having a great day, great care day, 1 out of 7.6 billion, I get it, Pastor Akil, I am one of a kind. But I don't really feel like God called me in my mother's womb. Like, I don't really feel like I was living the right lifestyle. I became a Christian later on in life, or I was messing up a lot. That was the Old Testament style. Back then, that's when God was saying, you know what, hey, your name, parents, check this out. But actually, John the Baptist also. Crazy thing about John the Baptist. So his name wasn't going to be John at all. Well, it was because God made it that way. But the parents had a different idea in mind. The dad, before the baby was even born, got struck dumb. I don't know how dumb, but he got struck so dumb that people said, look, we got to put him off to himself because he can't talk, he can't write, he's still losing his mind. And then the people said, hey, we're going to name your child after the father. And the mom said, no, we're going to call him John. And they're like, let me talk to the husband. The husband wasn't there, it seems. They go up to the husband, and they give him a pad. And for some reason, all of a sudden, he can write. And he writes this name John. They're just like, how did that happen? They didn't talk. He hasn't been able to talk. He literally is crazy right now. What God said was, look, I want to show you all something. That two different individuals in two different aspects of life can come together and have God say, look, I'm affirming what's going on here. This baby's name is going to be John, and then there's a reason behind it. Well, let's take a little step further. Because like you said, you know what, maybe you weren't called from the womb, but if you're a Christian, which I hope you are, and if you're not, it's okay. Today's the day of salvation. Today you can recognize that your sins are going to earn you an eternal death forever, but acknowledging your sin, acknowledging what Jesus Christ says, what he did while he was here on the earth, and then what he did when he died and raised from death into newness of life, it'll set you free, and you can join us to be free. It's not something we did, it's something he did for us. But anyway, if you don't know what Jesus says, get on it, this is amazing. If you are a Christian, pay attention to this right here. Therefore, 2 Corinthians chapter 5, 17. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, the new has come. I want y'all to think for a moment, all right? Put on your thinking hats. This means you're thinking smart. This means you're insane. Forward thinking. Think about this. Can you think of anything that doesn't have a name? Think about it. Give it a second. Give it some time. Thingamabob. That's called thingamabob. Thingamabob. I can't say it, dog. Think about it. Anything you know of not have a name. Everything that we know of has a name. And here's the awesome thing. Scientists, and not just scientists, people are making discoveries all the time. I watched this show called It's Blue Planet 2. It's amazing. And they're talking about all these things they're discovering at the bottom of the sea. And they're talking about, hey, scientists didn't know this happened, it took place. And they have this crazy name. It's named after this guy's grandmother or whatever. But they're identifying things and saying, okay, look, I see what it is. That's awesome. Let's give it a name. Why? Because names are important. And everything that's been created, everything we've discovered has a name. Because we use names to identify things. So if you go back to that verse, is this still up there? No, it's not. Go back to that verse. If anyone is in Christ, he or she, some of y'all are females, is a new creation. That new creation has a new name. If you're a follower of Christ, then Jesus has given you a new identity, a new name. You might say to yourself, nah, Pastor Akil, that ain't true. Like, my mom gave me this name, it's my grandmother's name, it's a great name. It might be a great name, but God's got a better name for you. Some of the people in the Bible have their names changed. Abram, his name was Father. He had no kids, 75 years old. Wasn't looking like he was going to live up to it. God said, hey, I'm going to make you father of a lot of people. And by the way, your name isn't going to be Abram, it's going to be Abraham, father of a multitude, father of many. Awesome. Sarai, her name meant princess. But here's the thing, she was barren. So in her mind, and also in society's mind, if you're a barren woman, God looks at you and says, I don't have favor on you. I don't like you. So God comes to her and says, your name is no longer Sarai, it's Sarah, which means God's princess. And then she becomes the mother of a nation, the Israelites. Oh, that was terrible. Now I'm doing this right here. But anyway, let's think of someone else. Oh, I don't know, Simon Peter, right? Everybody goes with Paul and Saul. That's an easy one. Let's go with Simon Peter. Simon, and if you notice when Jesus first meets Simon Peter, he says, hey, you're no longer called Simon, your name is Peter. How you gonna walk up to somebody and be like, you're no longer called Jay, your name is Frank? No, it's not. My name is Jay. It's easy to spell. I already know how to sign it. I'm good. Can't even do a capital F anyway. No. He didn't say that stuff. He said, okay, my name is Peter. Cool. But then if you notice, all through the New Testament, you got to read these things, because I didn't tell you to read ahead. Read ahead, maybe. Read the whole Bible. We're going to be prepared next time. He, as in Jesus, says Simon at some points, but then he says Peter at some points. Whenever Simon, and by the way, Peter means rock. So Simon, it's like a reed. It's like wavering. It's like sand. You know it's loose. You fall into it, it'll break your ankle. So Simon means wavering, means loose, means weak. Peter means rock. So there are moments in Simon Peter's life when he's following God, doing what he's called to do, and God says, Peter, come on, my boy, you're doing it. You got this. Then there are moments when, you know, he's just being old Simon. He's caught up in his old ways, his old lifestyle, and he's not trusting in God. And Jesus looks at him and says, Simon, what are you doing? Imagine him saying, it's like, hey, wavering person, what are you doing? Hey, weak person, what are you doing? And then the next one was like, hey, strong man. Okay. So often, God will give us a new identity because we're a new creation. But we never know about it because we don't take the time to get into his word and realize who he says we are. And I love this so much so that, I mean, it's the whole reason I talk about identity is because we identify with so many things that ruin us. No, I'm smiling. But they ruin us. They destroy us. We put everything we have into it, and then we find out, wow, that left me feeling more empty than I started. Wow, I wasted all this time, all this money, all this energy, all this effort. I gave my entire heart, my entire being to this, and it left me feeling like I am nothing. Like I have no value. You know why? It's because you didn't find your value in God. The one who created you, the one who said, look, I knit you together. I can tell you exactly how much you're worth. You're worth eternity on the cross, in my eyes. Now some of you might be saying, Pastor Akil, look, you're just being heretical, which basically means you're pointing that the Bible's not true. Like, I don't know about that. All right. Revelation 2:17. See what it says. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. This is Jesus speaking, by the way. To the one who conquers, I will give some of the hidden manna. I will give him a white stone, and no one knows except the one who receives it. Now let's go back to that first part of the verse for a moment here. The white stone. It's like a trophy, you know, like, and not one of those trophies you get from Upwards or those sports where everybody participates and then they're like, yay, here's your trophy for being here. This is one of those people who says, you know what, God, I'm going to trust you through my life and I'm going to see what happens. Now the cool thing about being a Christian is there's no such thing as quote unquote a bad Christian. You're going to follow God. You're going to mess up. You're going to mess up. You're going to fall short. The reason Jesus saves is because he's saving you from yourself. You're going to fall short. It's okay. But there are some people who say, you know, God, I'm giving you everything right now. Every single moment of my life. They say, God, I don't care what it costs me. I'm giving it all up. They're still Christians. The process of sanctification is learning how to be more like Jesus Christ as you walk this earth. is learning how to say, you know what, I see the cross in front of me. God, I don't want to get on that cross. But not my will, but your will be done. Because I recognize that what you desire is greater than what I desire. So let's do this, God, for you. That's what sanctification looks like, right? So that white stone, it's a victory stone. And it says that you'll be given this stone with the name on it, you will know. Only you will know. Now, it's ironic because we just talked about people who were given names that they finally understood and knew. Abram was named Abraham. Simon was called Peter. Saul had his name switched and said, hey, don't identify with this name, identify with this different name you have. Paul. There are characters all throughout the Bible who God says, all right, you're not called this anymore. Jacob was called Israel after he wrestled with God, contended with God. All these people had their names changed. Why? What was so significant? This is an easy one. About Abram's name being changed from Abram to Abraham. Well, father of a multitude. Was he the father of a lot of people? Yes. A lot of people. Lots of descendants. See, these names that God writes on the stone, that only we will know. It's not meant to say, hey, you know what? I know Jay's name, and nobody else knows it. Nah, the Bible, when it says know, it's not talking about knowledge. It's talking about an intimate knowledge. It's talking about an experience. It's talking about a nickname. It's like how a husband knows his wife. He knows what to give her when she's in one of those moods. It's like, you know what? I don't even know how I messed up, but I know how to fix it. I know what to do. You guys, you don't know about this yet, but hopefully you will learn one day and you'll make the right choice. Ladies, be patient with guys. You don't make the right choices all the time. But this stone that has a white name engraved in it, only you will know, is a nickname. It's a name that correlates with the walk that God has called you to live. And once you step before God, and God says, well done, my good and faithful servant. And he hands you this stone, you say, whoa, that makes sense. Because of the life you called me to live, I see why you nicknamed me that. Because of the struggles we went through, God, how I saw you come through, that makes sense. I get that, God. I identify with that because, God, that is me. That's who I am. But I want to go back to, in addition, I want to go back to this verse. A good name, an intended name, is to be chosen rather than great riches. And favor is better than silver or gold. Leave it there. The whole reason a good name is to be chosen rather than great riches and the favor of God is something that you should desire more than silver or gold is because, in all honesty, the reason we pursue riches, the reason we pursue gold, women, guys, esteem, education, whatever it might be, is because we're trying to identify with those things. Trying to put those inside of us and say, okay, finally, I'm somebody. Well, the reason it's a good name is because it's a simple statement right here. I don't know if I just got dark or what just happened there. Go ahead, put the statement up. Being known by Jesus and who he says we are is better than anything we can hope to achieve in this world. Knowing God is great. Being known by God is great. Satan knows who God is, but God no longer acknowledges Satan as one of his own, as being worthy of being in his presence. There are a lot of people who walk around this earth that God says, yeah, I know who you are, but I don't know you like that. It's like that person who walks up and is like, hey, yeah, I know you. No, you don't. I have it happen to me all the time, and sometimes I act like I know the person because I forget things sometimes. I forget people. I'm not really sure. I had a guy coming through the gas station. He talked to me like he knew me. And for the first probably 12 seconds, I thought he did. But then he started saying some stuff. I realized you don't know who I am at all. But that's another story for another day. So often in our lives, people come up to us and say, look, I know you. Now you know about me, but you don't know me. And one day, we're all going to go before God. Every single person who's been born. Every single person who's died is going to go before God. And God's going to say one of two things. I knew you, or I didn't. And if he didn't know you, your soul is cast away forever. But if he does know you, oh, it's about to get real good. Life's about to change in an incredible way. First of all, you're dead. You're about to walk into eternity forever with God. You're about to have an award ceremony. You're about to figure out, okay, God, who am I to you? But it's not too early to ask right now, God, who am I to you? Because we understand who God is. We've been given his word. We've been given the opportunity to study him, to get to know his heart. But how often do we stop to say, okay, cool, God, I love this relationship. I love what I'm learning from you. I love the fact that you are transforming me from the inside out, that I'm no longer somebody who's captive by the desires of my flesh. I'm no longer a slave to pleasure, but I'm free. I love that. God, you're amazing. You're so cool. God, you're all these things. But do you ever stop and say, God, who am I to you? Like, why would you do that? Why would you ransom your son on a cross for me? Because I know I'm not worth it, so who am I to you? And then in that moment recognize the identity God has given us. But oftentimes, we're right here. We're trying to make a name for ourselves. And it's fascinating because it's something you hear all the time. I gotta make a name for myself, you know? I gotta get my own. I gotta get mine. I gotta make a name for myself. Why? Why is it so prevalent in our society to say, I have to make a name for myself? Because so many people walk through the world feeling like they're nobody. Feeling like they're nothing. Feeling like nobody sees them, nobody cares about them, that they are worthless. But what if you walk through the world not trying to make a name for yourself, but understanding your identity is set, solidified in Jesus Christ, and you're good. You're making a name for Him. All of a sudden, rejection isn't so big. It's not a big deal. If somebody turns you down, somebody says, I'm not a fan of that. Okay, cool. You might reject me, that's fine. But the King of all creation, He hasn't. I'm okay. When you have a great day, you recognize, you know what, God, things are going well, awesome, I'm having a good time. And you realize, you know what? Yeah, today it might go well, but what happens if this goes on tomorrow? You know, God, I don't have to worry about whether it's a good day or a bad day. I don't have to worry about anything. I don't have to worry about my health. I don't have to worry about my girlfriend. I don't have to worry about anything, God, because you've got it all under control. I'll take care of what I can take care of right now and trust that you'll take care of everything else because, God, you're good. You actually care about me. I don't know why you care about me, but you do care about me. And God says, hey, I want to remind you something. Remind 101, hey, here's who you are to me. This is the name I called you. This is the identity I've given you. You're special to me. You're unique to me. You are mine. But so many of us, we just walk through life saying, cool, yeah, I'm a Christian, I'm saved, you know, I'm supposed to live a different life, and sometimes God asks me to do things I don't want to do. But if you really got to know God and got to know who He's called you to be as well, you wouldn't have that mentality. You'd say, you know what? I don't need to make a name for myself. I don't need to make myself popular. I don't need everybody to like me. I don't need everybody to love me. Because I'm solid. I'm set free. Now some of you, this makes no sense to you. You know why? It's because you've never met Jesus Christ. Just be honest. It makes no sense for you to say, you know what, I don't need to make a name for myself. I don't need to become famous. I don't need to become the next best thing. Because you don't know what it means to be free. You are still a slave to pleasure. You're still a slave to the identity of the world. But what the world calls you changes all the time. How many of y'all have ever been called tall before? Tall? Have you been called tall? Cool, okay. All right, yeah, you put your hand if you're not tall. Hand out. How many have been called short before? You should put your hand up, sir. Okay. Just saying. How many of y'all have been called something that's not your name? All right, hand down. Anybody ever been called a name that's not yours? That you think to yourself, like, wow, really? Wow. I remember I was in middle school, and this teacher was reading off the roll. First of all, let me explain something. To read means to look at the letters and formulate the sounds based upon those letters. This man said Frank, and looked at me. Look, back at him. We had an awkward distance. And I was like 2 inches shorter, so I'm just looking at this guy, he's looking at me, I'm just sitting there, saying, well, is that your name? No, sir. Well, who's Frank? Everyone's just like, there. But I'm Frank in this class. Y'all, we didn't have a very big 7th grade class. This is my first time being back in middle school, whatever. It's like, sir, there's no Frank in our grade, actually. I don't know where you got that from. He called me something that didn't identify with me. And you know what? I stared at the guy awkwardly because I was like, I'm not responding to that. You might look at me all you want to. I'm not gonna blink, man. I'm not breaking. So often the enemy's gonna call you something that's not your name. He's gonna call you something that you do not need to identify with. But are you going to? Are you gonna respond to a name? Are you gonna respond to an identity that was never meant to be placed on you? Yeah, you are. If you don't know Jesus. If you're not set free by God, if you don't have security in the fact that He is good enough, that He is actually risen, that He sits at the right hand of God saying, hey, you know what, I love this person. I care about this person, and I'm going to do what it takes to make sure that they're set free. If you don't know that, then you're going to respond to whatever people call you, because you're just actually being called. But if you've been set free by God, If your identity is solidified in who Jesus Christ says you are, then you will always be. I'm not trying to make a name for myself. I'm trying to make his name more famous. Because greater is he. He is always greater. The whole reason John the Baptist was called John the Baptist, this is the name he was given us, because his mantra was this: look, he must increase, and I must decrease. I don't care about people knowing about who I am. What I care about is them knowing who he is. Because he's the one that's going to set you free. He's the one who has eternity in his hands. He's the one that's going to set you free from your sins. He's the one who's going to give you love, hope, peace, joy, and a security that will never go away. There's so many people walk the world, and they'll never experience that. Because they make the choice not to turn to Jesus. If you're here today, please make the choice. Turn to Jesus. Get to know who he says you are by getting to know him. Find your identity in him. Find your security, your peace in him. And nothing in this world is going to shake you. Nothing in this world will overtake you. Because he's a good father.